Roland, thank you very much. We've only got a few minutes left, and we've had some interesting questions come. A couple of them relate to cost effectiveness. What if renewable technology is cheaper than an energy efficiency technology? What should happen? I'm not sure any of you want to answer that, but it's something that we have to reflect on. And somebody asked this one: is the energy renovation facilitator a sort of energy renovation Elena or a similar financing facilitation service? Yamina, would you like to just take 2 minutes just to explain your facilitator? It was near the end of your presentation, and it's such an important concept that I think people just need, if you could just give 2 minutes on that, that would be great, please.
Thank you, Rod. So the facilitator, as I said, currently doesn't exist in any member states. Maybe the only one that could be close to the theoretical concept is maybe what has been done in Netherlands to have Energiesprong, but it's only for one segment of buildings, and I don't know how they are expanding actually. The facilitator role, the idea of the facilitator role came when we thought about how to make the energy renovation an industrial project. And then we have been comparing to what makes successful an industrial project and what are the barriers to the success of any industrial project. And this is based on the enterprise risk management framework. And the enterprise risk management framework, and this is why I showed by the end, I make the comparison with Airbus, recommends the creation of central risk function to facilitate the implementation of the project. So the project in our case is to have net zero energy buildings each time a building is renovated, and this is the only way to have a fully decarbonized building stock by 2050. And so this is our project. And then this facilitator will have a role, of course, to implement this project. We have plenty of barriers, or in the industry we don't call them barriers, we call them risks. And then we have tools to mitigate all these risks. And what does matter is that this facilitator, as it's independent from other structures, so it should be able to identify all the existing risks. So there is no conflict of interest because the facilitator itself doesn't mitigate any risk. The facilitator's role is to implement the energy renovation industrial project. So it identifies all the risks and then all the barriers, and then they are categorized. So, and by categorizing them, the facilitator will propose to assign each risk to the most appropriate organization. So if there is, for example, what I showed at the beginning, we have some inconsistencies in the EU policy instrument themselves. So the facilitator will go to the Commission and to the legislators, to the EU legislators, highlight these inconsistencies and propose to them to and work with them to remove them. Actually, if there is also a risk that we have a financial risk, so the financial risk is a way to overcome it. So we need to discuss it with the financial institutions, which are different from policy institutions. And then there is an industry risk, is that, for example, in the innovation, we will have intellectual property issues that needs to be discussed with the industry, because industry and the innovators are the best suited people to address this. This is the role of the facilitator. So what does matter is that the facilitator doesn't mitigate any risk. It's above all these things, and the role is to get all these pieces together. This is the way to overcome the three levels of fragmentations that we have and that we will continue probably to have in the future. Okay. I hope it's much clearer now, Rod.
I think it is. I think it is. Look, there's one really interesting question I'm going to throw it open to any of you. Apart from policy fragmentation, and Yamina went in to talk about the fragmentation, and Peter talked about the fact that they try to overcome the policy fragmentation. The question any cases of policy contradiction? And the way I interpret it is, are there actually policies that are actually hurting energy efficiency? Does anybody want to take a stab at that?
This is Yamina. I could give you an example of all policy contradictions.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the policy contradictions...
30 seconds.
Yeah, I will do it. I will be very fast. So when we had the austerity measures, for example, are implemented to meet our 3% budget requirement, and austerity measures hindered the renovation of public buildings in many countries. So in one hand we have the austerity, we have the 3% budget requirement, and on the other hand we have the 2020 climate and energy package, and energy renovation is part of it. These two do not work together. Actually, the austerity measures have been more powerful, and they hindered energy renovation in several countries, and we know that today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've had a comment now. Housing Europe is working in trying to replicate the Energy Sprong project in France and Britain as part of the Energy Transition Zero project, or the Transition Zero project. The mediators between industry and the housing sector in all of these cases are social housing providers. So we look forward to hearing more about that. I think, Yamina, I know we just had you talk about the contradiction, but would you just like to just give a little summary how you feel the reaction is to your report so far?
Well, it depends who is sending reaction.
No, but the reactions from the round table, okay?
From the remarks that we have.
Yes.
Well, it's very encouraging actually, because there are some of the questions that are highlighted by the audience that we need to further work on and develop, and there are some that we could answer very quickly. I think we will answer them later on, that we already have answers for that. But what does matter, I think, when we're working on this report is to have an open discussion about where we are today, to make an accurate assessment of where we are today, and to have an open discussion about what we should be doing to move forward in the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Over to you.
Okay, great. Does anybody want to have a final word from the roundtable? We've got just a couple of minutes left. Anybody like to have a final comment? Claude.
I'm afraid we've lost connection with Claude Terms in the meantime.
Okay. Okay, Peter, would you like to say something finally?
I'd like to say something cryptic.
Okay.
EE plus RE equals CE.
Good.
Energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, but if you can combine it in the value chain approach, particularly in the industrial and commercial area, energy efficiency and resource efficiency is going to give you the circular economy that you need. I think it's rather narrow just to be looking at the performance of the building shell.
I remember last year attending a workshop at the European Parliament that Claude actually chaired on the circular economy, and it was the Club of Rome that was making the presentation, and it's going to become a more and more important topic as we go along. I would like to thank everyone. This week, as Peter was mentioning, the energy efficiency package was supposed to have come out. It didn't. But with this webinar today, I think the discussion over the next months, weeks, months, whatever, how long it's going to get more and more interesting and challenging. I would like to thank all of the panelists. You answered excellent. Your participation was wonderful. Yamina, you made a very good presentation following your report. I know you mentioned that there was over 6,000 downloads, but I encourage some of the participants who are listening that may not have listened to it or read it report yet to download it. I would like to thank the build-up team. Having these webinars is just tremendous, and I think it's really important. I've been watching the number of participants. We've only lost a couple in the last few minutes, and that's really wonderful. There's been a lot of questions asked that we simply can't go through. We could keep going for the next hour or two, but that's just not possible. But we will try to answer them privately. Thank you, everyone. Alexander, over to you.
Thank you, Rod, for an excellent moderation, and thanks to everybody around the table for their contributions, and many thanks to our audience, which has, as always, been very much interested in this subject. Let me say from my side that, as usual in these cases, we will have the webinar recordings available in a couple of weeks on Build-Up to watch on demand, along with the PDF of the presentation. We are looking forward to seeing you in our next webinars, and I would like to say from my side that usually our webinars are more structured in terms of several presentations from several speakers, but I believe that today's experiment of a roundtable has been quite successful, and if ESME also agrees on this, we will be very happy to host more of such, let's say, more open approaches to our webinars. So thank you again very much, and well, keep visiting Build Up for more. Thank you.